You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 129. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roshan Warner at Roro, the host of Large Popcorn, and video essayist Christian Macias at ISO Christian, and we are without the one half of the Men and Gitch podcast, Gage Dempster, today. But guys, how are you?
Doing great.
I'm a little sad.
You're sad?
What's wrong?
Why is that, folks? Next week is RTO. For all you white-collared folks, that stands for, or non-white-collared folks, that Return to Office. Hybrid model. So don't worry. This show will still happen with me.
Okay.
I made it work.
Awesome. So we're glad to hear that. Thank you to everyone joining us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us there, as well as twitch.tv/podcastpxn and Twitter. Guys, we have a topic of the show this week. That is the state of Xbox. We're going to talk about what we're expecting from this year. Some other Halo Infinite stuff in there as well. We're going to kind of go over and talk about. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But here comes the quick bites where we chime in whenever we want. Here we go. Badoop, 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 or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, you tried it.
I tried it. Guys, we have some more Russian Fallout, and no, I don't mean we're getting a Russian Fallout game. I mean, the war in the Ukraine right now is obviously still going on. That crazy Vladimir Putin has decided to try to take over because he's a psychopath. And we have some gaming backlash going against them, which is fantastic, kind of continuing off of last week. CD Projekt Red has announced that they are halting all sales in Russia and Belarus. Also, Microsoft has announced that they're suspending sales of products and services in Russia. Sony also confirmed that they are suspending all PlayStation hardware and software sales in Russia. Bungie announced that they are suspending all Destiny 2 sales and commerce in Russia and Belarus, and have continued their Bungie Foundation supports of supporting Ukraine with a free, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce this word that's in Ukrainian, but it means sunflower emblem that is being given to players who show their support, which I think is super cool. Bungie's always done a great job with that kind of stuff.
I'll also include that this came very late. This is like an hour ago.
Oh.
And I don't think I saw it in here.
Oh,
Sony also, or I guess PlayStation. Sorry. PlayStation came out and put out a tweet, very much, not rejecting, suspending all software shipments over to Russia, and then supporting humanitarian aid. Pretty cool of them also utilizing the alt text feature on Twitter. Not a lot of people do that, and it really does help a lot for accessibility. So, dubs, in my opinion.
Awesome.
Also, it was all around dubs for all this news.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, Ikumi Nakamura, I hope I didn't butcher her name, I apologize if I did, revealed her new studio's name that she started last year. It's called Unseen. She's focusing on a multicultural team with games based around her interests in mystery, horror, sci-fi, and the supernatural. So, of course, she is the famous ex-Bethesda or Tango Gameworks developer that came on stage to announce what's it called? What's their next game coming out called? Oh, I'm blanking.
Is it Ghostwire or not Ghostwire?
Yes, Ghostwire.
Oh, it is Ghostwire, yeah.
Yes. She was on stage to announce Ghostwire. That was kind of her project that she led. And I was so upset with her because I wanted to see Evil Within 3. But yeah, this is still super cool. She's well regarded in the industry.
Yeah, like oftentimes in the PXN show, we have like a new studio to announce. Like a lot of them have been popping out recently, and I always say like, "Oh, I'm very interested to see what they make." And this time, like, I'm genuinely interested to see what Ikumi Nakamura's studio is going to make. I watched the video that she put it on, or that was posted on IGN about her new studio, and she talked about wanting this. She said she's going to take a lot of care in making this IP into something that goes beyond video games as well, like in anime and apparel and stuff like that. So she's putting a lot of care into whatever her first project is, and she says she wants to make a game with characters that reflect real life personalities and minorities, and in a world that supports a bunch of different cultures. So I'm definitely interested. Definitely interested to see what she's going to make for real. But yeah, she's super wholesome. So I'm glad that she has a new studio.
This is the first time I'm learning she also did art for Bayonetta as well as Okami, which I think is also really cool. Awesome. Like Nakamura just rocks. So
nice. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I love both. Well, I recently loved Bayonetta, but I love Okami, so that's awesome.
If anyone could hear like this weird screeching sound while Ro was talking, I apologize because my dog decided to start chewing this toy like right behind me. So
Did you hear this? I didn't hear anything at all.
Oh,
I didn't
you
hear
didn't?
it either,
Okay, I could hear him going at it. I'm just like, dog, put the toy down. Anyway, sorry. Yes, very very cool news from Ikumi. Glenn's in the chat, of course. He's saying, "You're very welcome. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern." Thanks, Glenn. You're the real G.
Dude,
thank you.
Glenn, more on time than me.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
Wow. Guys, our next story, Nintendo has announced a brand new demo for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, featuring the game's first 3 levels. This game has to be Game of the Year, 10 out of 10. Greatest game of all time. Because of course it's in my fantasy critic, but no.
Right.
But no, this is actually super cool. The first 3 levels of the game is really substantial, so that's really cool that they're offering this, and definitely I'll check this out. Ro, are you gonna check this out?
I don't know. This is separate from the one that was last week, right? This is a new demo.
No, I think it's the same one.
It's the same one. Oh. Okay, because I thought the first one was just the first level.
Yeah,
or the one that I knew of.
Okay.
So either way, I don't think I'm going to, because it is so close, and I just want to play all of it. But I've been watching people who have played the demo, and it does look like I would enjoy it anyway. So I don't think I need to try it out. I think I'm safe to just buy it on March 25th when it comes out. But definitely for those who are not sure, I would suggest checking it out, because everything that I've heard about it is really good.
Okay. Get your predictions in right now, because I think Ghostwire Tokyo also comes out on March 25th. Nope, March 22nd. Okay, so just a few days apart. So I want you to predict which will have the highest.
Kirby.
The higher Metacritic.
No
I
doubt.
agree.
Yeah.
I think Kirby will also have a higher Metacritic.
I agree. Kirby. Or should I just pick Ghostwire to be different?
So no bet was placed. There we go.
Yeah.
We'll see if we're wrong or right now.
And I'm not just picking that because I have it in Fantasy Critic. I legitimately think that it will, like you.
I think didn't they preview Ghostwire already, or a couple of outlets did, or was that something else?
I know they just they got the game last week, and their embargo goes up, I think, next Monday or no, maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know.
So I guess we'll find out soon, depending on when Kirby's embargo lifts.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did not even realize this story was from last Thursday, because I just send myself these tweets of the stories, but yeah, that was the day after we recorded last week, so I didn't even realize it was already out. So I guess I'll have to get on that.
Okay, so it may have been the same demo then.
Okay.
I just didn't realize, but okay, cool.
God damn, Daniel.
What happened?
I'm looking at something, but I'll bring this up later.
Oh.
Don't worry about it just yet.
All right. Moving on. Gabe Newell, guys, has officially banned NFTs from Steam due to its sketchy behavior, which is great. His quote here is pretty good. The people in the space, though, tend to be involved in a lot of criminal activity and a lot of sketchy behaviors, he said. So it's much more about the actors than it is about the underlying technology. So yeah, that's pretty great that Steam's blocking this. They're just like, nope, we're not doing this.
So that's refreshing to see that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh man. I have in general seen a lot less NFTs pop up on my Twitter feed, so I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Dude, have you been seeing the pictures today of like Google Trends, looking at like how many people are looking up NFTs? It's shot like way down.
Oh wow, great.
We're winning for once. Gamers are winning.
Yes. Well,
On one front.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On one front. Guys, this is an interesting story that came out. God of War is reportedly being looked at a live action TV series for Amazon Prime, which is kind of insane. Also, like, the idea of this is just mind-blowing to me. Like, the budget of this is going to probably be insane, like, for a mythological, like, freaking themed TV series. Like, I feel like this is going to be super cool. And also, people were asking, like, who, like, Kratos should be and everything. Christopher Judge should be freaking Kratos. Like, he's already Kratos in the new games, and he has a long history with TV anyways. One of my favorite shows of all time as a kid, Stargate SG-1. He was a main character in that named Teal'c. So I would love to see Christopher Judge take the helm of Kratos.
Not to mention, he's also insanely jacked.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And huge, like, in general, tall.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you guys something about this. Will you watch this show? Are you excited for this show?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we got to
Okay.
see what it is before we can make any assumptions or anything. But I'm in.
Yeah, I think I'll be in for this one too. I'm trying to, like, because that's a valid question, because there's been a lot of, maybe not all of them have released yet, but for Cuphead, for example, I haven't watched that yet. And Castlevania I haven't watched yet. So there's a couple of video game adaptations that I guess I was quote unquote excited for, and I just never got around to watching. But this one and The Last of Us are definitely stuff that I think I would sit down and watch for sure.
Yeah, because for me, I immediately go to like, all right, what is Sony Productions making, right? And I immediately go to three things: God of War, which we had just found out about, Last of Us, which, to be fair, is shaping out to be probably pretty cool because of who's involved in the writing and directing, and then of course, most recently, Uncharted, which commercial success, sure, critically, not so much. That movie is like super whatever. In terms of adaptations, like it may as well just been like another action movie, with Uncharted references. So I see this and I'm like, we've had one hit. Sorry, not even. We've had one miss and one possible hit. So I don't know where to land. So I'm going to be super trepidatious and hope they do it right, because I don't know.
I think
I'm a skeptic when it comes to TV.
I think Sony's strategy is very interesting too. Like, literally, they're putting their content everywhere. Like, I think one's coming on Peacock, one's obviously a movie, Uncharted,
Oh
HBO,
my God, Twisted Metal.
Amazon Prime.
yeah.
Like, they're literally everywhere right now. It's pretty insane, and like, I think it's smart because you're putting your brand in in front of as many eyes as you possibly can. I think that's very smart.
I don't know if an Anthony Mackie comedy as
True.
what's his name, the clown, what, Pennywise? No, not Pennywise. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is gonna get people excited to go out and play the PS3 Twisted Metal.
Yeah, fair. But there is rumors of a new version of Twisted Metal that have been swirling around.
That's true.
so
Destruction All Stars team,
Yeah.
also making that. So we'll
who
see.
knows? See. Our
Get mad with
next.
me.
Do what?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Our next story will be bound to excite a couple of us. Ro, you may be running away from this, but
Hiding.
Dead Space remake is getting a developer live stream coming this Friday. So it didn't quite make this cutoff, but I'm sure Christian will be excited to bring this on the news next week. And Christian, we got a little tease here, and man, looks good.
Is there a tease?
Yeah, there's like a 9
Oh, like
second.
yes.
Yeah.
I saw this. Yeah.
And the audio is incredible. Like, obviously this is like just a little teaser, but frick.
Oh my God! Wait, I turned it up. There's like a voice in it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's creepy. I like it.
Dude. I don't know if I want to play this remake anymore. I'm gonna have nightmares again. For those of you that don't know, I should explain this just one more time. I'll be quick. When I played the first Dead Space, I had nightmares for 2 weeks that I had to stop the game and like put it on pause for like over a year before I beat it. Anyway, bro, you should play it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great
Sounds like
game.
I should play it. Yeah.
It
Oh
is
my
pretty
God.
scary.
Mhm.
Glenn says 100% God of War. So I guess he's on the God of War train. There we go.
Glenn,
Yeah.
what happened, man? I thought we had something.
The next story we've got, guys. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga may get 7 DLC character packs based on content outside of the 9 core films. So if Kirby's going to be the greatest game of all time, this is going to be the second greatest game of all time. Am I right,
Don't
guys?
tell me you had. Did you draft Lego Star
Yes,
Wars as well?
I did.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna be drowning in points with that game. I think.
Yeah, this is super cool though. Like, obviously, this is the Skywalker saga, so it doesn't necessarily, imply these other characters from Rogue One and Mandalorian and all the other properties. But it's super cool that they're gonna put these characters in there. It kind of reminds me of Halo: The Master Chief Collection, which includes games that don't even have Master Chief in them because they added them. But yes, very cool. I really like this.
I wish I was in an age where like I had nothing to do, because I think if I were a kid, Lego Star Wars Saga would be like my game for probably like a month,
Yes,
because there's so much to do in those games.
there really is, and they're always pretty good. Like, they're pretty good games.
Yeah, they rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one might excite you guys, or obviously in our pre-show talk we were talking about the Batman. You can play as the Batman in Sifu with a mod from community member Nosborn GG. And this looks super cool. Like, it's really well done. Like, the cape animations and stuff are really cool as well in there. Major props to him. It looks, and like, it's even stylized in the art style of Sifu, which I really like. It's super cool.
That's fun.
I saw it this morning and immediately fast forwarded it to the hallway scene, and it was indeed awesome.
Very cool.
Nice. I think they didn't somebody do a Daredevil one too? I think Daredevil mod. If not, they should get on that.
I think
I think I saw that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I do remember that now, actually, and that's also cool.
Very cool.
Daredevil, bring him back. Bring Charlie Cox back. We want to see more
He's
Daredevil.
back. He's already back.
I know, but we want to see back the show or bring something more.
And Daredevil season 4 is confirmed to be happening.
Oh, it is? Wait, is it?
Yeah, by the writers of both. The Daredevil writers are working on Echo, and then they will be moving on to Daredevil after that.
Oh,
Nice. You just made Dan's day.
Yes, you did. Especially since I hadn't watched Daredevil until like 2 months ago, and I'm just obsessed with it now.
I'll come from this.
Okay. Welcome to Podcast PXN, where we also talk about TV shows. I'm being stupid. Anyways, next up, guys, we've got Metacritic announcing that Microsoft was the highest rated publisher in 2021 with the largest average Metascore in history.
Damn.
Jeez.
Good for them.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Obviously, to put it into context, they had 10 scored products. I believe Sony had 11. And Humble Games, I think, had 17. So Humble had more, games to put out there, and they were still in third place. So obviously, take that as you will. But this is probably Microsoft's strongest year that they've ever had. And obviously, it's the strongest that Metacritic's had, but it's the strongest that they've had, I think, in their history, at least the recent history, because their first party has struggled for a while, just in terms of having exclusives. So. Yeah, this is good to see, and gives us hope for the future.
Like, in the span of a few months, they had Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon, and Age of Empires all scoring critically, like really well. So
yes,
yeah.
And also, I believe the port of Flight Simulator, was this year.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Flight Sim was great.
Yeah.
What about did Psychonauts get good reviews?
Yes,
that did as well. Yeah.
Yep. So
good year for sure.
good stuff. guys, we just got this a little bit ago. Warner Brothers Montreal has announced that Gotham Knights is getting a release date for October 25th, 2022. We should just label this episode the Batman episode. But
I'd be happy with it.
I would too. Actually, ironically enough, like watching the Batman movie on Monday has gotten me hyped for this game. Like,
Me too.
I was already somewhat on board for this game, more so than Suicide Squad before we got our last look at Suicide Squad. And now, like, after watching the Batman, I really want to play this game. So, like, it's not too far away, Ro.
Yeah, I'm bummed that it got delayed, but I'm definitely. I'm not. Wait, yeah, it was delayed a while ago, but now we got the official date for it, and it's not too far. Yeah, I guess you're right. Still a couple of months, but I'm glad it's not next year. But yeah, the Batman movie definitely made me itching for some more Batman media to indulge myself in. So yeah, definitely excited for this.
Fingers crossed it's good.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Guys, we got some PlayStation news here. Forspoken has been delayed from May until October to allow it to be a more polished final experience. Obviously, they posted a message here to their Twitter account. They said, made the decision to move the release date of Forspoken to October 11th, 2022. Our vision for this exciting new IP is to deliver a game world and hero that gamers across the globe will want to experience for years to come. So getting it right is extremely important to us. To that end, during the next few months, we will focus all of our efforts on polishing the game and can't wait for you to experience Frey's journey this fall. Thank you for understanding and continued support. So yeah, obviously, you know, people that were looking forward to this game, it is maybe a little disappointing to them, but it's good that they're not releasing it in a bad state and continue to work on it to make it a great game when it comes out in October.
The rumor on Twitter was that part of the reason why it was delayed is that the numbers are coming in for pre-orders and they were like excessively low.
Oh.
So there was like not enough buzz around it, and so they decided to, you know, it wasn't a good time to really be releasing in May and build enough buzz. So, and if it, you know, leads to a better product because you get more polish, which happens, right, when you have more time to finish a game, then I think it's all the better. So,
yeah, I hope so. I think this is what I was thinking of when I said Batman was delayed. This was the delay that I was thinking of from May to October. But yeah, I've been very meh about Forspoken, so maybe it is good to get the extra time. I really like what we saw today, though, at the State of Play. That kind of hyped me up a little bit more on it. But more time is always good to polish these things up. So hearing that the pre-orders were low, I guess, does kind of suck. But hopefully they're able to, you know, show us a little bit more, get us a bit more excited, and raise those numbers.
Absolutely. Guys, not to end the quick bites on a somber note, but we have Sony has asked a court to dismiss a lawsuit. I wish I could speak today. A lawsuit alleging widespread sexism at PlayStation. While yesterday, 8 more women have come forward to share their inappropriately handled experiences while working there. I'm going to sum up it by reading some of Stephen Totolo's comments on Twitter because the article is very I don't know, businessy, and I'm not smart and can't pick it apart. So I'll just read Steven's comments here. So he said, yesterday, 8 more women came forward to share their stories. And there's a quote that I believe Sony is not equipped to appropriately handle toxic environments. He says, the women describe a range of behaviors across multiple US-based PlayStation offices, including demeaning comments, unwelcome advances, a lack of attention paid to their work or ideas, and most frequently, a sense that it was harder for women to be promoted in the company. There's a lot in the statements of the 8 women who have come forward, more than he could fit in one story, but also an account of an all-male gender diversity panel of a woman who put a check mark in a notebook every time she was interrupted in a meeting, 12 to 15 times per meeting. Wow, Jeezel, not good. Sony hasn't responded to the new claims, but in February, reacting to the women who sued, wrote Mayho? I hope that's right, fails to identify a single policy, practice, or procedure at Sony Interactive Entertainment that allegedly formed the basis of any widespread intentional discrimination or had a discretionary impact on women. So not great news, but hopefully like Sony looks at this as like a learning, experience. Like you can't just dismiss like these allegations. You need to at least investigate them. Like obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but also like I don't know. It's very tricky for them to, I guess, publicly comment on this and also at the same time try to create an investigation and see what's happening. If this is true, this is awful, and this is something that should not be happening. Like it's mind-blowing, I guess. I don't have words for it.
Yeah. First of all, believe women.
Yeah.
Secondly, when there's 8 of them coming forward and PlayStation Sony is coming forward saying, "Where's the proof?" essentially. That's a problem. Your board of diversity being all male.
That's the one that got me. I was like, what?
And then that we had this story happened earlier as well. Like this wasn't the first time women have come forward, and then since then not identifying a single policy, practice, or procedure SIE to in response to that. Is also a problem. So this is extremely disappointing from companies that we revere so much, right? We podcast about them, and this is shitty. Just plainly, it sucks. And do better, because this is unacceptable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think I could add much, but I totally agree with what Christian said about these companies that make such awesome stuff that we love to consume, but some of the people that are part of those companies are really just really all kinds of messed up. So we have to obviously hold them accountable and make sure that they do better. But it is always a tough situation being someone who consumes their stuff at the same time. But it is always good to bring these topics to the forefront and talk about them and hope that we can spark some change for sure. So yeah, I disagree with you guys are saying.
Yeah. By the way, like, first of all, like us as dudes, like we're in a position of privilege to like try and understand like what it's like for a woman to exist. Like I think about like how people suggest to go places at nighttime. It's like girls will be commenting like, I can't do that because I can't even go on a run at nighttime, right? Like stuff like that. Go read some of the first-hand accounts, if you're able to, and read like some of the stuff that like is happening at that workplace. It's insane. I will say one, and it's the first one that I saw, and I guess there's sensitive warning here for folks. Like even the small stuff, like facilities, are like not what they should be, because like there was a woman who was breastfeeding, or maybe pumping. It wasn't one of those two, and she had to go to a storage closet to do so with a broken lock, which is like if there's not even a facility to do that, like in a restroom or like another room for this, then like come on,
right?
I wonder if it's because their board of gender diversity panel is all dudes.
Absolutely.
I think that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad.
The crazy part, Christian, is just to kind of go back up what you're saying there specifically. At my work, so we support multiple buildings. So we go to multiple buildings to work on IT for them. So I was actually last week at the sheriff's department, which we support, and they have a designated room for mothers that I didn't know was there. And apparently this was a new thing that they had just added, which is great. I accidentally tried to open the door because we were legitimately going around the entire building trying to find phones to replace because we're working on replacing all of our phones. And I'm like, I know there's a phone in here because it used to be an office. And I didn't even see the nameplate on there that said mother's room. Thankfully, they had a lock on the door, like one of those like
sliding
deadbolt lock or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So thankfully that was on there like for her protection. And I'm like, thank God, because that would have been the worst moment of my entire life to walk in on someone doing that. So yes, just as an example of a workplace that's doing, what they should be doing in that situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not gaming related, but I just thought I'd throw that in there because you said that.
Yeah.
So
It's relevant. It's
Right.
relevant.
all right, guys. Moving into our news here, the state of play from Sony has dropped. We've got a little roundup here. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet because I was putting together everything for the show. I haven't
It's
had a
okay.
chance to check everything out, but I can kind of go over everything, and if you guys want to like pick apart what you want to talk about, and then I do have a couple of things about it that I wanted to say as well. But anyways, so apparently we're getting futuristic exosuits clashing with dinosaur hordes and Exoprimal coming in 2023, which I saw a little bit of that on Twitter. It looks
Because
Little-
people thought it was Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
so yeah, that looks interesting. We also have a new Ghostwire Tokyo trailer, which is showcasing ghostly threats out on PlayStation 5, March 25th.
Hope it's good.
Yes.
We also have a new Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin demo that lets you carry over progress to the full game. We have
Are you guys excited to kill Chaos?
multiple
Definitely.
times. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Obviously, everyone who listens knows I know nothing about Final Fantasy. So,
And it's a Soulsborne like game or Final Fantasy game, so it's even more.
It's like Soulsborne meets what would I call it? Like fast action.
Okay, like Nier, I guess maybe.
Yeah, like a
Something
neat
like
yeah
that.
near like no more like a Bayonetta kind of
Okay.
or a Devil May Cry, that kind of fast actiony, but yeah,
Nice.
more Soulsy, I guess.
okay. We got a new look at Forspoken, which of course we talked about a little bit ago. Got its delay, so these screenshots look real nice from it. It's real pretty. We got Gundam Evolution, which is bringing free-to-play FPS action to PS5 and PS4 in 2022.
Yay.
Which
The Gundams look small.
interesting, yeah.
Or that room was just really, really big.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then our next one is probably the one I'm most excited for. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection launches this year. Very cool. It includes the entire Western release of 8 and 16-bit games, their Japanese versions, and of course the TMNT arcade games. Together, we're bringing all 13 console and arcade games and their regional versions to PS4 and PS5 in 2022. That's good.
Friend of the show, Eric Ginn, also co-host with me on Penultimate Conquest, tweeted that he'd pay $40 just for Turtles in Time, and I'm right there with him. Turtles in Time is like a phenomenal game.
Heck yeah. I used to play the 1989 arcade game with my brother all the time when I was younger. That's one of my first gaming memories.
In an arcade?
No, actually, I think it was on
Okay.
NES or SNES or the other, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
One of those two.
We got Giga Bash, which is bringing multiplayer, monsters, and mayhem to PS5 and PS4, which this looks a little wild.
I forgot about that. It was like 30 seconds.
Little teaser. We got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R launches.
Let's go.
this fall.
Oh man, I only just started watching this anime. It's wild. It's wild.
Eyes of the Heaven.
We've got. I guess we're battling to hell
This
and
looks
back
awesome.
in Trek to Yomi.
This one looks cool.
Yes.
Does it?
This is one I've been excited for a while.
Yeah.
I think this was the second trailer we've gotten, and it looks still just as great.
Oh, it looks like Ghost of Tsushima-esque.
Oh, wow, because it's set in Japan and the man in the sword. Oh,
Christian, I didn't even get to watch the trailer yet. Cut me a little slack.
It does have the black and white samurai
yeah.
like
It's very much Kurosawa
aesthetic,
inspired.
but yeah.
Is it
Very
a
cool.
side scroller?
Some of it.
It looks cool. Yeah.
It's mostly 2D. There are 3D elements that you go through as well.
Cool. Looks rad. The next one, of course, I think this is going to be one of Christian's favorites, probably. Returnal is getting a free Ascension update, which is adding co-op and Tower of I don't even know what that word is. Sisyphus mode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. This is my time to
Yes,
respond.
that's your time.
First of all, I think this update also might add the I think they were looking at adding like difficulty settings for those like that were wanting to do that. So I think they're gonna, if they don't add that, I think they were looking into adding more accessibility options as well. So
yes,
I think that's coming because it in the trailer is like Returnal Ascension, and then like the update was like 3.0 or something like that. So hoping that gets more details soon. Otherwise, the co-op I think is really cool for people who may have been stuck playing this game just on their own. I had a few friends who like didn't finish it. Maybe a co-op would go a long way. It certainly goes a long way in Elden Ring. Sometimes I've had a co-op in that game like twice. And then the Tower of Sisyphus mode, which I think is like an endless challenge or some kind of maybe a raid. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
Here we go. Our endless mode just sounds super intriguing.
Yes. Yeah, it sounds really cool, actually. I was just about to say that. I was reading that paragraph while you were talking. It says, true to our arcade roots, the Tower of Sisyphus is effectively our endless mode. Players will strive to ascend the tower as high as possible. However, much like the tragic story of Sisyphus, I'm probably butchering that every time, there is no end to the climb, and players are tragically destined to meet their demise as the mode gets increasingly harder. The only question is, how far can you get before succumbing? That actually sounds pretty cool. I would probably be dead about 10 minutes into it and then be like, what the heck? But cool.
For all you English major fans and or absurd fans or Camus fans, just hearing the word Sisyphus just gets me going. Sisyphus is, you look up the man and pushing the boulder up the hill, you'll know exactly who's it.
Cool. We're also getting the Diofield Chronicle that was announced for PS5 and PS4. And why do I feel like this logo looks like Final Fantasy?
Wait till you see the next one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely very Final Fantasy. Yes, it is Square Enix, but yeah, it looks this. I think this is one of the ones that I'm kind of interested in. It is. I think I've been lying to myself, you guys, for a really long time about my excuse for not liking The Witcher 3, and I just said it's because I don't like high fantasy and fantasy settings. But maybe I just didn't like The Witcher 3, and I think that's okay. It was a while ago, and there's a lot of high fantasy games that I do like. So I think that was just an excuse I was making up in my mind.
But Witcher 3 isn't a tactics game.
That's true.
True.
That's true.
You like tactics games?
I like Fire Emblem. And I like XCOM. So, yeah, sort of,
I'm learning
sometimes.
something about you.
Yeah, sometimes.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the name.
Yeah. It's like their triangle strategy sort of weird titles that they just decide to keep for some reason.
Yeah.
In the last game they announced, guys, Valkyrie Elysium descends on PS5 and PS4 in 2022, and again, it looks like Final Fantasy logo.
Yeah.
I like this art style a lot, though. This is super cool art style.
Yeah.
Yeah. The art style was great in this.
I like the art style. Sorry.
No, please.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I like the art style for like the cover, like the key art, but the in-game stuff was kind of weird for me, kind of hit or miss in some scenes. But yeah, sorry, Christian, go.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, right? Just to jump on that, because the actual like art around the world kind of looks more like a realistic style, but yet the characters are kind of like the more cel shady, at least in gameplay. Yeah, so I don't know.
Interesting.
I will say, it's a great time to add that Imran tweeted today a joke saying that Square Enix was announcing all these games so that you'd forget that Babylon's Fall released.
Oh,
that game is not doing well at all.
Not doing good.
Not good at all.
Oh man, I want to check how they're doing.
So
have you seen concurrent players? It's abysmal.
Not good. Yeah, that's what I was gonna
It is,
check to
yeah.
see if I could figure that out.
It was like in the hundreds, right? Like very low.
No, it was just over 1,000.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, which still for a new game is still not
Great.
very good.
So obviously my favorite part was the TMNT part. Christian, I'm assuming your favorite was the Returnal.
Hold on, actually, it was Battlefield 2042 was 1,000. You're right. In the hundreds was
Okay.
Babylon's Fall.
Okay.
And no, my favorite was Trek to Yomi.
Oh, okay. Ro, what was your favorite part of the state of play?
I am in the same boat. Trek to Yomi was definitely my favorite part as well. I think it looked the most unique and fun to play out of everything. I think the DO field thing was probably my second favorite announcement. Yeah.
You guys are just the same person, actually.
we like cool games, man.
That's fair.
That's so wrong.
That's fair, bro. That's fair. Guys, we're going into a not so great segment again, but obviously needs to be talked about yet again, sadly. Activision continues their I guess streak, you could call it, of terrible practices, but Activision is now blaming the Microsoft deal for their inability to hire another female board member, which is very interesting to me because they had essentially, so there's a lot here. I probably won't read this whole thing because there's just so much here, but essentially what happened was they have their board that is the head of the company or whatever, their board overseeing Activision, and they were supposed to have, within 3 years, they were supposed to have 3 women on a board of 10 individuals. They had 2, and at the end of last year, they still only had 2, which was, obviously that didn't get met. That criteria didn't get met. And they're blaming the Microsoft deal because they essentially didn't have the ability to, hire another female before then. What the hell were you doing the rest of the 3 years, Activision? Because it's not just the Microsoft acquisition was literally the end of last year that they started talking, like I think late September or October. Like, what what?
Yeah.
Very.
I'll read this segment right here. The law went into effect on January 1st, 2019, at which time Activision Blizzard had 2 women in its 10-person board of directors, Ravetta Bowers and Elaine Wynn. Wynn departed the board in 2020, at which time the company almost immediately appointed another woman, Dawn Ostroff, to replace her. The company had not appointed any other board members since Bowers' appointment in 2018. Yeah.
That's
unacceptable.
Come on. I mean, yeah. Not good. Not good at all. But that's just the first part, guys. We still have 2 more stories about Activision.
I know.
Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal is also being investigated for insider trading now. And apparently this is on good old Bobby Kotick's watch again. Here we are, Uncle Bobby up there calling in some favors for his buddies. Apparently, the Wall Street Journal reports that Barry Diller, Alexander von Furstenberg, and David Geffen invested around a cool $108 million, guys. It's nothing, a small investment.
Oh, just pocket change, right?
Yeah. In Activision Blizzard just days before Microsoft acquired the company and shares went up in value. Their investment has climbed to $168 million and could be worth up to $200 million if they keep their shares until the Microsoft deal closes later this year. They go on to say that essentially these 3 guys are very, close friends with him. Like Diller has described himself as a long-term friend of Bobby Kotick and also served on Coca-Cola's board of directors with him. Von Furstenberg is the stepson of Diller, so related to him, and Geffen is another longtime friend. I mean, this couldn't be any more clear than that. Like, what the hell? What are you doing, Bobby? Like, why? No, yeah.
How does it keep getting worse every week for Activision? Like, just when I think, like, all right, surely nothing else is gonna come out. Like, we've seen the worst of it, and just keeps piling on.
Getting worse. Yeah, at this point, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but it is always shocking to see how low they can keep putting themselves. Like,
Yeah.
how degenerate are you? And it just keeps getting worse, as we'll see with the next story, which isn't technically a news story,
Right.
but them suing, or we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's ridiculous how this was going on for so long.
You know what? Maybe Microsoft can't. They can't take over soon enough at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously, we're not saying Microsoft is perfect or anything, but far better than what Activision's
way
got going
better,
on.
yeah.
They've got to be right. I hope so.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And then the final story of Activision, guys, because we have a nice trio here to round out their shittiness. Activision Blizzard has been sued by a family of an employee who had passed away from suicide. And the complaint alleges that sexual harassment was a significant factor leading up to her death. So the complaint from Janet and Paul Moynihan claims that sexual harassment at the company was a significant factor in the death of their daughter, Carrie Moynihan. I hope I'm not butchering that name. A 32-year-old finance manager at Activision Blizzard who was found dead at an Activision Blizzard company retreat in 2017. In a report to the Washington Post, gosh dang it, I did so well. Moynihan's parents filed the wrongful death lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court. According to the report, Moynihan is the employee referenced in the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit that was filed in July last year. So, yes, not good at all. And I don't even want to go into like the details of it. Like they have details here on what occurred. Like this is just not okay. Like don't.
Yeah. I mean, we even read the details of what was happening at these studios anyway, right? Under Activision, like just a few months ago, the kind of culture, the frat culture that they had there. Like a terrible environment for a minute. Like, first of all, horrible for like someone to have to, you know, like this is the decision that she made to commit suicide. It's terrible. I really hope that this family wins this lawsuit and Activision settles for a hefty sum because they at least deserve that.
Yeah, I agree. It's so. I remember when we talked about this a couple months ago when it first appeared, all the crazy stuff that was going on in Activision, and this one was just one of the most infuriating ones because somebody literally died because of the awful environment that they were working at, just trying to make ends meet, just trying to pay the bills, doing something that I assume they love doing. Maybe they didn't love the job. I don't know. That really doesn't matter. That you shouldn't feel unsafe at a job that you don't like or like. It doesn't matter. But yeah, she thought that she had to kill herself because of the terrible things that were happening to her at work. And I don't know what it is about video games and this medium. I mean, I know it happens everywhere, but there's just something about video games that seem to bring. I guess it's the dude bro culture that is in video games more than other workspaces, and I don't know. It's so upsetting, and I hope stuff is going to change soon for women, for trans people, for minorities, just everybody who needs to be protected finds that protection in their workplaces because it's afforded to everybody else, but the people that need it. So, yeah.
And you know what this leads to, which I didn't see this news story up, and I forgot to bring it up. I forgot to write it in, so I can bring it up now. It leads to studios not being able to hire anyone. Case in point, Quantic Dream not being able to hire anyone to work on Star Wars, and now that game, being so far out as what am I trying to say? How should I phrase this? Being as far away as 2027 or 2028. Yeah,
which is insane. Why? Number one, like
why announce it?
Why would you announce that? Yeah, like
give Star Wars to someone else.
Yeah,
not a company like Quantic. Anyway, aside from the point.
Yeah. If obviously we were pretty clear there, but if we weren't clear enough, don't be shitty to people. Don't fucking sexually harass people. Don't be a fucking asshole. Just fucking live your life and leave people alone.
It's funny that people need to be told, but they do.
Yes.
Apparently, yeah.
Never mind.
So, sorry.
You gotta tell guys to wash their hands, man. You seen like bowls?
Yeah.
Oh god.
That's gross. Gross.
Yuck.
All right. Moving out of the heavy stuff, guys. We're moving into GTA features and pricing, which is our last news story. So the first thing here, I was kind of going to ask you guys what your guys' thoughts were on the GTA 5 and GTA Online, PS5 and Series X and S versions. The new features that were revealed. We got a few new features. It's going to support 3 new graphics settings for players who want specific things from their games. So you get fidelity mode, which is native 4K with ray tracing at 30 frames per second for both PS5 and Series X. Series S will support upscaled 4K. Performance mode will target 60 FPS at upscaled 4K for PS5 and Series X, 1080p on Series S. And finally, performance ray tracing mode, which is a hybrid of fidelity and performance mode, which will run GTA 5 at an upscaled 4K with ray tracing and target 60 frames per second. This mode is only available on PS5 and Series X. It will also take advantage of the DualSense controller on the PS5 with haptics and adaptive triggers, as well as Tempest 3D audio for PS5, spatial audio for Xbox. Both console versions will take advantage of the SSDs, of course, for faster loading. And Rockstar promises high-end PC visuals on console, including increased population and traffic variety, increased vegetation density, improved lighting, water reflections, and other elements, plus improved anti-aliasing, motion blur, highly detailed new explosions, fire, and much more. So it seems like a pretty decent port that Rockstar's doing, which I thought they would do. You know, they did a decent job with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions of the game as well. But I don't know if any of these features excite you guys. I think obviously we can throw in the pricing thing here as well to kind of factor into your decision. So the pricing, in my opinion, is a bit odd and not consistent, which I don't think is necessarily a product of certain things. Anyways, the pricing, GTA
pricing?
Do what?
Sorry, go ahead. You're gonna tell us. Yeah.
GTA 5 for PS5 will be 75% off for the first 3 months of launch, which 75% off. I don't know if you can say that, but I don't know. Priced at $9.99, which this is only on PS5, $9.99 on PS5. After 3 months, the game will cost $40. So I guess they're saying 75% off of $40. So I guess $40 is the new retail price for GTA 5. This version of the game includes the single-player story mode and GTA Online. Now remember, the standalone GTA Online version is for PS5 is completely free for the first 3 months of release on PS5, so you can get it free if you get it right away. The standalone game for GTA Online is $20. So now we're jumping to the Xbox side of things. GTA 5 for Series X and S will be 50% off, so not 75%, 50% off for the first 3 months, priced at $19.99. After 3 months, the game will cost $39.99. This version of the game includes the single-player story mode and GTA Online. Xbox versions of GTA Online will not be free at launch, but are on sale for 3 months at $9.99 for just the online portion. After the first 3 months, the standalone will be $19.99. So there's a lot of confusing things here. I'm just like, I understand why the Xbox version is priced differently, because Sony did that deal with Rockstar where GTA Online is free for the first 3 months. So essentially, you're dropping the extra $9.99 that GTA Online costs. However, it does look a little weird when you're like, all right, you've got the Xbox version that's $19.99, you've got the PlayStation version that's $9.99, comes with the exact same content. I do not like that at all. Like, it's the same thing that I always talked about back in the Destiny 1 era and even early Destiny 2 era, when there was content that was locked on platforms because it wasn't PlayStation. So, but yeah, obviously their pricing is not terrible. I don't think the pricing is terrible. $20 or $9.99, I guess, on PlayStation. It's not terrible for an upgrade if you're looking for that. But yeah, I don't know. What were your guys' thoughts on these features and pricing?
Or would you like to go first? Yeah.
Sure, I can go first. I probably have the least to say anyway because GTA is just not has been my thing. So the upgrades great for those who are interested in that kind of stuff. I can't even tell you what is my favorite upgrade here because I just haven't really played the game at all.
Fair.
But the pricing stuff is interesting. It is really it makes me scratch my head a little bit, but I think I'm starting to wrap my head around it. And it does suck that PlayStation's getting the better end of the deal and all that. But even the base price for the game is really good. Like $40 for GTA 5. Like that's a really popular game that people are still playing to this day. The game that came out on PS3. So yeah, I think the $9.99 stuff that's awesome, and even the new retail price for it is great. Even if you miss the sale, that's still a pretty good deal, I think. Yeah, that's really how I feel about it. Yeah. Oh.
I will start from the worst and move
to the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
First of all, I understand that Rockstar has a relationship with PlayStation, right? Cool. Great for them. But those kinds of relationships, I'll put my thumbs down. Those kinds of relationships should never lead to business deals where one platform is having to pay significantly less than another. That is just absurd to me. Why is PlayStation players, why are Xbox players having to pay more for the same product? That makes no sense to me. Like, time exclusivity on its own creates issues, but at least that's better than like being priced. Come on, like free compared to $20. That is asinine. Why is this a thing? Terrible decision making. Like, you're just, if I were an Xbox player and I was interested in playing Grand Theft Auto, I'd feel jaded by this. Like, I would lose interest. And that's just me though. But still, like, you understand where I'm coming from. Those are otherwise, like $10 for the first 3 months. Like, I mean, that's fair, right? I wish it was that way on Xbox. But like the actual pricing, like that's what they decided. Okay, sure. My other thoughts here on the features. Performance ray tracing is probably one of my favorite options to play a game now. Like, I love performance RT. It's fantastic. You get the best of both worlds, right? And I get to see nice, pretty lights, reflections, and I still get to target 60. To answer Dan's question from like super earlier, does this excite me? No, but I'm sure it excites GTA players, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll get back into it because GTA Online is actually really fun. But otherwise, like, okay, it's also an old game, so like, do I really care? No, because I'm moving on to newer things. But the last thing I'll say is the inclusion of utilizing the SSD is legit a game changer in Grand Theft Auto, because GTA Online
the load
is
times.
nothing but loading, especially when you're hopping into between jobs and all these like cool like custom games. Like, half of it is just loading. We've already seen what that looks like on Gran Turismo. Yeah, I mean, like Gran Turismo, like that's my most recent example, because like on older platforms, it's upwards like towards a minute to load a track, down to 1 second on PS5. So I can't imagine what GTA Online will look like with an SSD. That on its own is exciting.
Yeah, like Horizon too. Like the loading for Horizon isn't. They actually intentionally have an option in there to slow it down for PS5 if you want that, which I turned that immediately off. But
well, it wasn't slowed down. It was you have to push X to continue.
Yes. Oh, you're
right.
X
comes up like
yes.
In a second. So
yeah, because I turned that off. I'm just like, I don't care about the hints. I'll just get the fast loading. So yeah, it's insane. GTA 5 story takes 30 minutes to load in, feels like, but we'll see what happens. All right,
also,
guys.
transferring your characters, that cool.
Yes, very cool. Which they did that already from last gen to this previous gen. So that's amazing. Mm-hmm. They're doing that again. So cool. Guys, a little fantasy draft check-in real quick here. Our points totals, we've got a new leader, Christian.
Oh?
Yeah, this is why I said damn Daniel like way earlier. I was not referencing a vine.
So I'm at the top with 69.9 points. Now, to be fair, I also have the most games right now out of everyone. I think I have 5 games released. Christian only has 2 released. So I have 69.9. Christian's at 41.82. Roe is at 8.69. Roe only has one game released.
Why'd it go
yet,
down?
so- Did it go down? Oh,
I was at
Favorites.
10 last week.
oh
no.
no.
Here's what I want to know, because you were at 41 last week. Oh, sorry, keep going.
And then Gage is at 0 because he hasn't had any games released yet. But the next game that's on our radar is Tunic, March 16th. That's 1 week from today, Christian. You got Tunic.
Oh yeah, those are my games.
Yeah.
I forgot. And my little buddy, look, my little buddy go.
Yes. And if you're
Anyway.
wondering what game got me more points last week, Christian, Triangle
Yes.
Strategy got me points last week.
Oh, you had that and GT7
Yes,
in the
I
same
did.
week?
Yep.
Okay, that explains it. That explains it. Jesus. Whatever. Like I said last week, we're going to be eating after E3, man. You're going to be like, oh, I don't have any money.
Until they all get delayed until 2023.
No.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm kidding. All right, guys. Moving into what you got for me. I haven't played many video games this week. I've kind of been taking a break a little bit, but I played a little bit more for Horizon and traveled deeper into the West. Still enjoying it. Still going on. So that, I don't have much of an update for you.
Hi, Brenty.
Oh.
Oh, I completely, I missed that. Hello, Brenty, and hello, Kirik in the Twitch chat as well. I apologize, I missed you. He's playing Horizon Sifu Ring. Such a good game. That's a single game, right?
Yes, Horizon Sifu Ring. Oh man.
Well, I just got the joke. That's amazing. That's a lot of games at once. Yeah.
Bro, what you got for me?
Yes, I haven't had much time to play much either, but I did make some time for a little bit of Destiny at Reset yesterday. Because the raid dropped and a little bit of raid drop last week, so some things changed in Destiny. That usually is a new thing that they did in Destiny 2, where when a team beats the raid, there's like a little cutscene explaining the Guardians that infiltrated the pyramid in this case, and just some new story stuff was added. So I did that, and that was fun. And yeah, I figured out how to do crafting a little bit better and how to grind that out. And so I've been working on getting different guns to get the god rolls on some weapons. So yeah, I've been working on that, and that's really it. I haven't done the raid yet. Probably won't do it for a while. But
Are you
I'm
raid
looking
ready?
forward to it.
Like, is your gear at that level?
I am raid ready. Yes. So I could do it if I wanted to, but probably not going to do it anytime soon. And just this is a super long time ago. Probably don't even remember, but Babylon's Fall right now has 195 players playing it in the last hour. Yeah, so that's not good. That's not
Devastating.
good. But yeah, playing Destiny when I can. That's it.
Cool. Christian, what you got for me? Because it's always a surprise with you.
Take a guess. No, please.
Elden Ring, of course.
Of course, man. It's consumed my life. Do I have writing projects that I need to be working on? Absolutely. Am I doing them? Oh God, no, because Elden Ring has taken over. It's all I think about. Like, I think about that game the way I think about the Batman. In my Batman review on Letterboxd, I wrote,
This
"This made me forget about Elden Ring." Just for 3 hours, and I got home. What did I do? I played more Elden Ring because that game is incredible. Game of the year.
And now you can pause in it, right, Christian?
Oh yeah, I saw that you can do that now. Pretty cool. I mean, by a little exploit, but I don't need it. Oh, I'm also hold on. I should also say that I'm not a guy who's against pause buttons. Like, if they include that, then
disgusting pause button.
I just find it always fascinating. Like, the Souls fans always find like workarounds to do like traditional things like that. It's just interesting to me.
do I have more thoughts? Yes, but I don't want to get into it. You know what I mean? The whole debacle on Twitter has been too much for me to keep up with.
Oh God.
Oh,
I want to know what
forgot.
happened.
I forgot about that. Yeah, the
with
Horizon
like the
devs.
game devs.
The
Oh,
Horizon, the
okay.
game dev's coming out, and I was like, well, I just want to partake in this conversation. I'll just keep playing my silly little game.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Sometimes on the internet, Christian, as I've learned, just keep your mouth shut and just enjoy it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I've learned.
I'm ride or die iCarly though. I'll keep tweeting about iCarly.
iCarly.
There's a video of Miranda Cosgrove cussing. Insane. I'll send it later.
That's awesome. All right, guys, moving into our topic of the show, state of Xbox. Here we go. We have some things to talk about here. So, what's the current state of Halo Infinite is the first thing I have here. So, we got a bit of an update from 343 finally on Friday. People have been waiting. Well, fans have been waiting on this for a long time, giving us some sort of roadmap of what's happening, what's coming up. Obviously, Season 1 of Halo Infinite was extended by 3 months, because the seasons are only supposed to last 3 months. They extended it an extra 3 months, so it's a 6-month season. Obviously, people weren't too happy about that initially, and it only got worse from there. And now being at the midpoint of this season now, where Season 2 was supposed to drop, it is getting to the point where we're starting to notice things that are missing more so than we did at launch. But first, we'll focus on this update, and then we'll go into that kind of stuff. So the update is the focus of the Halo Infinite team and priority order, which I like how they're kind of, here we go, this is what's coming. Number 1 is addressing issues negatively impacting the player experience. Those things are like desync. Big Team Battle was broken for a little bit. There's issues with hit detection. There's multiple issues that they're working on as far as the core of the game. Number 2 is completing Season 2 content and delivering it as promised on May 3rd, which is the delayed date that we're getting it. And number 3 is continuing work on campaign co-op, Forge, and Season 3, which is obviously following Season 2. Campaign co-op, they did it. Sorry. What?
So that would hit around like August then. Is that correct?
3 months. Yes, August. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So they do go into here. We also have a priority 0, which I agree with this, and I don't know anyone who would not agree with this, because it's more of an issue of like, what are they doing behind the scenes to improve the culture of the studio? Whereas this is a statement that I could get behind. So priority 0 that undergirds everything we do, namely team health, with an emphasis on getting ourselves into a sustainable development rhythm so that we can deliver great experiences to all of you while keeping a healthy work-life balance. Priority 0 means that we sometimes need to move slower so that we can move faster later. Frankly, these last few months have been slower than we expected, and we sincerely thank you for your patience as we stay true to the priorities above. So I think my important takeaway of this is the game should have been delayed. At the end of the day, the game should have been delayed by Microsoft. And I think the issue is the game wasn't delayed, and the game was not necessarily in the state that it was, it should have been in at launch. Missing features, Forge, campaign co-op, issues at launch, all of that stuff. And you're starting off on that front where you're already behind on where the game's at. So when you're delivering a ongoing game such as this, it's a game as a service, or at least that's what they wanted it to be. You have to be able to continuously put out new content. Otherwise, the game is going to go stale. You're going to lose players quickly. And that's what's happening. And I think the issue is, because the game wasn't delayed, they're working on all of those issues that are foundational issues, like core mechanics and gameplay and issues that they find along the way, and not working as much on the season content, which is your maps, your modes, your armor, your colors, all of that. And there's so many things that they've tried to address, but like, for instance, the battle pass, the progression system, they've kind of just put patchwork things in there to like satisfy people for now, but that's not the long-term solution. So they're also working on long-term solutions for those issues alongside all of the season content. So there's a couple issues with that, and the issue is we're not getting content now. And they've announced that Season 2 will launch with 2 new maps, which is not great. 6 months to get only 2 new maps is not good, especially comparing to previous Halo titles. And again, at the end of the day, you have to put the people accountable that are the people, the people who should be accountable should be held accountable. Like, I personally don't believe that it's 343's fault. I don't think it's the developer's fault that this has occurred. I think you have to give them time. If you don't give them time, nothing's going to come true. Nothing's going to come to fruition. So, like, yeah, I'm not going to keep rambling. I'll let you guys chime in.
No, I'll even agree with you. I don't think there's ever been a case where a studio said, like, no, we can just ship it now. Like, I think a studio will always say, like, if they can get more time, it's probably a good thing. And it has to be a Microsoft thing, right? Like, it just had been in development for so long that it just needed to come out at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it already had a 1 year delay before that. So I can understand why Microsoft wanted to push it out, but we're, like Dan, you just point out, we're seeing the repercussions of, what happens when you released, I hesitate to call it an unfinished product because people did really enjoy, like, critically, that campaign was, like, really well.
Yeah.
They enjoyed the feel of the multiplayer. So, like, it was close to a finished product, but we're seeing it now that there's, like, just small things that could, like, really go far to improve, like, player experience. For the most part, I think, like, Halo is still, like, it's still a good game, right? Like, you wouldn't go so far as say it's, like, an incomplete or bad game, right?
Incomplete, you could make an argument for incomplete, but
sure.
But yes, like you're saying, Christian, I've been enjoying Halo nonstop since launch. Like, and that's kind of, I feel like that's the tricky thing too. Like, the selfish part of me was, like, happy that they released, when they did, because I've gotten to play for the past 4 months or whatever it's been, and, like, I've enjoyed my time with the last 4 months that I've had with it. Has it been perfect? No. And I think it's important to address those issues. And I think that's the other thing, like, we have to talk about, like, constructive criticism is fantastic. Like, developers want constructive criticism, but bringing developers down and, by, criticizing them by, like, going after them, like saying, this is awful, you're terrible, this company is awful, this needs to be thrown away, everything's trash. Like, that kind of stuff does nothing. It's literally unproductive, and you're tearing down people who are working on these games, and they fucking care about these games. Like, there's not a single person that you could point to at 343 that doesn't care about Halo. They work there because they love Halo. That's why, like, that's all they do there is work on Halo. So, like, bringing people down, like, mentally, that's also not a good thing either. Like, you're literally trying to destroy someone's mental, aspect of their lives because of a video game that didn't come out the way you expected it to come out. Like, that's my main issue, is, like, people in the community just need to be better about constructively criticizing and not, lambasting, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Ro.
No, I guess I don't have much more to add than what both of you already said. I agree that Halo should have been delayed. It does suck that the first season got extended, and like you said, we're only getting 2 maps with the second season. When I assume most of us were expecting a little bit more. I'm sure they are adding other things besides the 2 maps, but just the 2 maps for a new season does kind of suck. And it does seem like they're playing catch up now because of the not the early release, but the the release that they decided to go with because of Microsoft, instead of releasing with everything ready. So I guess that's what Microsoft is going to have to live with now because of the decision that they decided to make. And unfortunately, the people that have to pay for it the most are the people who are making the game, that care about it the most. But I agree. Just give them some time, and it'll be back to where it needs to be. Like Halo Master Chief Collection. I'm sure you could make that. You could talk about that as well, Daniel. How it started and where it ended up, completely night and day. And I don't think Halo Infinite is nowhere in the state that Master Chief was when it first launched. So they're in a much better space to get things back on track. Not even to say that it's off track, but like to do the catching up that they need to do.
Right. Exactly. And that's the important part. Like, once they have, the foundation, fixed the way it needs to be fixed, then they can focus on the continuous content. And I feel like that's only going to get better as time goes on because they're getting caught up on that stuff. So it's a tricky thing for sure. But
by the time campaign co-op takes off, people gamers have short memory, right? Like we'll forget what they were feeling like in February when all these games are launching. So yeah, and it's gonna take time, but
there was also a really good perspective that I saw on Twitter from one of the community members, which I'm not to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of his normally. I disagree with him many times, but in this case, I agreed with him. The Act Man is his name on Twitter, but he essentially posted a video about the issues that Halo Infinite has launched with and the reason why it's dropped so much in popularity in recent weeks. And I completely agree with him that Halo, especially the last decade, of games that we've gotten, has always been about these multiple pieces of community that are all coming together to bring everyone in. So you have your campaign co-op people, you have your Forge people, you have your multiplayer people, you have your competitive multiplayer people, you have all these segments of the Halo community, and all of them are just saying this game's great, bringing all these people in to play the game. And what you're missing right now, you're missing that campaign co-op group that play campaign co-op. You're missing the Forge group, the Forge community that makes awesome Forge content. You're missing so many pieces that makes Halo special and makes it different than every other video game, that the sum of its parts isn't necessarily being held up as good because you don't have as many hands holding it up. So I thought that was a really good perspective on the whole situation.
And that makes sense too, because you can point to another shooter, which is Call of Duty. Think about the Call of Duties that came out, that were lacking a campaign, and see how those games didn't do as well. Granted, two totally different cases, but the retention there, when it's not a fully featured game, the retention isn't as high, or even more recently, Battlefield. The concurrent players there have dressed tremendously.
Absolutely.
Granted, one game did come out in better shape than the other.
Right. Yes. Despite Halo's issues, yes, it was, playable and enjoyable. Yeah. And yeah, the last thing I want to say is I've seen so many people say, oh my God, 343, they can't handle live service. It's terrible. All this. They literally have already done live service. People always forget about it because nobody, Halo 5 didn't get the attention that it deserved, but Halo 5 had literally the best post-launch support I've ever seen. And people are surprised when I say that, but Halo 5 had almost 2 years of monthly updates, one update a month with a ton of content. It's always funny to me because I always posted them on my personal Facebook page. They made little infographics of all of the content that was coming each month, and I had them on my Facebook. So I'll pull up Facebook occasionally, I'll see your memories, and it's all of the freaking monthly updates from Halo 5. They did such a phenomenal job with that game. And Microsoft also, another great example with Halo 5, gave them an entire year after the beta until the game launched. The beta came out 1 year before the game came out. That's if Halo Infinite launched in beta of November 2021, the game would be a completely different game, November 2022. Yeah. So,
and it would have been in Game of the Year contention this year.
Exactly. Well, yeah, Elden Ring I think is going to destroy everyone, but
sure, yeah.
But yeah.
But also on the note of monthly content, take notes, Avengers.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't believe I was so surprised that they were still doing stuff this year when I found out they're Avengers is not dead. We still have content planned for 2022. It's oh really? Okay. I can't wait to see that.
Yes. I think everyone's intrigued.
It could be worse, Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Guys, this one got me super stoked. Fallout New Vegas 2 is reportedly in very early talks at Microsoft. Yes, please. I think everyone who loved the original was super stoked when Microsoft bought Bethesda because they're Microsoft owns Obsidian and Bethesda, the people who created freaking Fallout New Vegas. So like this would be absolutely incredible if we could put this together. Like guys, what is Obsidian? Like Obsidian's making like 12 games right now, I feel like.
What else are we working on right now?
So Grounded, Avowed.
Yeah, that comes out because I think Grounded is this year, right?
Grounded,
No.
yeah,
Grounded came out,
1.0. Well, it's 1.0.
Yeah, Grounded came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's in beta. I think Daniel's saying.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I
Okay.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
So you have Grounded, Avowed, and then Outer Worlds 2, which is very similar in
Yes.
the style of Fallout. So
Yes.
yeah, a lot of games, but man, New Vegas 2 sounds amazing.
I never played New Vegas, but I know it's a beloved game.
Yeah.
Like
I'm in the same
up there as
boat.
much as beloved as like Fallout 3,
It's like
if not better. Yeah.
many people look back on New Vegas as being better because like they made a lot of improvements to like especially the gunplay. Like you could modify your weapons and stuff. It was you should play that game, Christian and Ro, both of you.
It's on. I'm assuming it's on Xbox, but is it on Steam too?
Yes, New Vegas. Yep.
Nice.
I have more thoughts on this, but with your later questions, I'm saving it for then.
Okay. So, guys, that leads me into what is the number one thing that you guys want to see from Xbox going forward? Like, whether it be a game you want to see, a policy you want to see changed, a structural change like within Microsoft, workplace improvement. What of these things like would you want to see? I'll start while I let you guys kind of simmer on this. My big thing, and I did talk to Gage a little bit about this as well. Like, I think one of the issues with Halo Infinite also, and many of Microsoft's first parties, is the mandate that Microsoft has for contract work. They have probably the most contract work that any publisher demands in the entire industry. I would suspect. That's not a fact or anything. I just said that, but they require heavy like handed work from contractors, and in my opinion, like that dissuades the game from being good because you're hiring a contractor on for 6 months or whatever. At the end of that 6 months, you got to find someone else to come in and continue that work. So you're kind of displacing like what they're working on. So I think that's probably one of the big things that I would like to see from them. Ro, what would you like to see?
There's a couple. Well, the one thing that I would like to see is maybe not even Xbox related and has more to do with the other companies playing nice. But I would love to see Game Pass on other places. I know Steam is all for it. PlayStation obviously probably not as gung ho about the idea, but I would love to see it like on Switch. I guess that's the only other place that it could go because it's on PC. But yeah, I'd love to see it in more places than PC. I think it would be really cool to be able to play the catalog of games on the go with my Switch, and of course that'll be possible with the Steam Deck if it does come to Steam. So that'll be really awesome to have that. In terms of games, I would love to see. I love to see them be able to. I know Dan, you may feel differently, or maybe you are of the same mind. I would love them to be able to compete with PlayStation, because right now for me it doesn't seem like they have those hard hitting first party games for me personally. So I'd love to see some new IP that can really get me jazzed about wanting to pick up my Xbox controller and play. Obviously, I don't know what that looks like. For me, I really like third person narrative games. So maybe something like that. I know they have Starfield, which is a first-person game. Halo is first-person. I'm sure they have their stuff, but nothing really comes to mind when I think of the style of game that I want. I know it's very selfish for me to ask for a specific game, but yeah, I would love to see some third-party exclusive, not third-party, third-person action adventure sort of style game from Xbox to kind of compete with what PlayStation's doing over there. But that's kind of it. I'm not a huge Xbox guy, but having Game Pass on the Switch would be awesome. That's my number one thing.
Sure.
Yeah. I have two things, and I'll start with the first, which is like pretty close to what Ro was saying. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, I think I very much would have said like diversity in what games you're putting out, which and lately they have answered that with acquisition, and this is kind of getting to an earlier point I was trying to get at, which is like games are coming, right? When everyone thinks Xbox, not everyone, but like there are those out there on Twitter, I should say, that say like, oh, Xbox has no games. Like, well, they do, right?
Just don't
And not
speak.
only do they do, but like they have tons of games now, and they're coming.
Yeah.
Like because so many of them will be in development. They are in development, and not only are they coming, but if you have Game Pass, like there's a good chance it'll come to Game Pass for you. So like diversity, I think for the most part is checked, right? For me, it's just a matter of time and a matter of when. So that part is kind of taken care of. The other thing, and this is kind of like a smaller thing that I think could go a long way, which is up in conversation today even, is some kind of direct style or
Yes.
state of play style for Xbox. Because like even if like you didn't jive with today's state of play, and even if you don't care for a majority of Nintendo's directs, at the very least there is like communication, right? And we can like get excited about the company that we play on, right? And like games that are coming. Because I feel like with Xbox games, for like a lot of the time, at an E3 or some kind of other event, we'll have trailers for Xbox games, and then I just won't hear about them at all for a long time until like some other kind of major event. And it'd be kind of nice if Xbox fans could celebrate together with some kind of direct where they can all hop in chat and see what's coming to Xbox soon, or get an update on X, Y, or Z game, or whatever. I think that could go a long way.
Yeah. And I totally forgot about that. I was going to mention that too in our state of play roundup, and I forgot. But yeah, that's something that I think that was what I was going to say, that Sony got some criticism about their state of play, but it's like, I'd rather get that than nothing. Like it's cool to see these updates on, the smaller stuff as well. So yeah, you're totally right, Christian.
This is kind of a silly one, but I remember when we were talking about Xbox for some thing. I don't remember what it was. I think it was predictions for E3 or Game Awards or something like that. And I jokingly said I want them to bring back Scalebound. I think it was because Platinum had like a bunch of teases, and they still haven't revealed all their teases yet on their 5 things that they want to announce. And recently, the rumors have started again that Platinum would be okay with restarting Scalebound. So that's a silly one, but something that I definitely would want is for Scalebound to be reignited and come to Xbox. That would be awesome. Probably never going to happen, but I love that.
And for like the diversity, like you're saying, Christian, like the diversity would lend right into what you were talking about, Ro, where you're looking for more third-person action adventure type experiences, which that is like probably the weakest point that Microsoft has in their portfolio right now.
Blade is coming.
True.
Oh yeah,
Very true. But yeah, I think that's super interesting. But talking about the games we're getting this year from Xbox, I think it's even more interesting because essentially this is, as of right now, this is essentially the Bethesda year, because we're getting, supposedly getting Starfield and Redfall both this year. Obviously, unless those get delayed, but it's important that they made that acquisition now, because other than those two, maybe we're getting Forza this fall. Stalker 2 was supposed to come out this year. It recently got delayed to December, but now it's probably going to be delayed much further because of the Ukrainian war with Russia. So yeah, it's a little, it's tricky. So like, what other games are we getting this year?
Yeah, there'll be smaller games. The big ones are obviously the pull, right? And that's going to be tricky because motorsport, we know people love Forza, right? But I think it doesn't have the same amount of draw or appeal as Forza Horizon.
Agreed.
As much as motorsport does get like critically praised because it deserves it, because like motorsport rocks. Starfield is obviously one that we're like super anticipating, but the big question here is whether or not it actually comes out this year. We just don't know. It's up there with like, does God of War come out this year? Does Breath of the Wild make it? Starfield, I think, is, because that game is going to be huge. Like, I almost like doubt it that when it was given a date, right? And then Redfall, just we know we like who's the developer?
Arcane,
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think some people are, including me, might be a little bit skeptical about how it'll play as like a co-op experience, and so A lot of, like just three big question marks. Even though they're like might be three great games, it's just like, do they hit this year? I don't know.
Yeah. And as I was saying earlier with the types of games that I want to play, not sure if any of these are for me, but there are some Xbox games that are like Somerville that was announced earlier this year. They're like that indie sort of game, and I think Replaced was in the that one I'm definitely hyped for, and Replaced as well, the pixel-ish style, which is also kind of in the similar vein as Somerville. But yeah, so there's definitely some games that I am interested on for that are coming to Xbox this year. But as you both are saying, what else is there? And I'm sure we're going to find out in the summer and later this year what else they may have planned. But it does suck that some of these may be delayed into the next year, and we only find out what's going to keep us our appetites quench our appetite later this year. We only have to find out later. So yeah.
Absolutely. You guys are spot on with that. I don't think I have anything to add to that. I completely forgot about Somerville. That's a really great point. And Replace. Yeah.
I'm stoked for that one.
Very good. Yeah. I didn't have anything else. Did you guys have anything else before we close out the show here?
It is not related to Xbox, but I did get reminded by the Stalker 2 delay thing. Because of Ukraine, Nintendo delayed Advance Wars because of recent events as well. Advance Wars 2. I should have brought that up when we were talking about that stuff earlier, but that was something that I forgot to mention, which is it's very surprising to me that's coming from Nintendo that they're actually doing something because of the state of the world. They usually don't don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. So that's cool. Good for them.
Good on them. Yeah, for real, good on them.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I think that's it. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Christian. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
All right, see you, Tarnish.
Be better.